Welcome to Trivia Clips. Are you ready to unlock the mystery, madness, and poetry of one of rock's most iconic bands? This is part one of the True or False Challenge, The Doors edition. You have 5 seconds to answer, true or false. Let's see how deep you can go through the psychedelic side of rock history. Let's begin. 1. Jim Morrison was known as the Lizard King. You have 5 seconds to answer, true or false. Correct answer, true. Jim Morrison gave himself the nickname, the Lizard King. It came from his spoken word poem, Celebration of the Lizard. He saw it as a symbol of primal freedom and transformation. The name became part of his mythos. Fans embraced it as part of his wild image. It captured his mystical and rebellious persona. 2. The Doors took their name from a Shakespeare quote. You have 5 seconds to answer, true or false. Correct answer, false. The band was named after Aldous Huxley's book, The Doors of Perception. Huxley's book referenced a quote by William Blake. Blake wrote, "If the doors of perception were cleansed." Morrison loved philosophy and literature. The name reflects their interest in altered consciousness. It was never a Shakespeare reference. 3. Jim Morrison was the band's original keyboardist. You have 5 seconds to answer, true or false. Correct answer. False. Ray Manzarek was the founding keyboardist of The Doors. He created their signature sound using a Vox organ. Jim Morrison focused entirely on lyrics and vocals. Manzarek also played the bass parts with his left hand. Their setup was unique, no bass guitarist. The organ became a defining part of their music. 4. The Doors performed on The Ed Sullivan Show. You have 5 seconds to answer, true or false. Correct answer, true. They performed Light My Fire on the show in 1967. Producers asked them to censor the word higher. Morrison sang it anyway, live and uncensored. They were banned from the show as a result. The moment became a symbol of rebellion. It boosted their popularity with younger audiences. 5. The song Riders on the Storm features real thunder. You have 5 seconds to answer, true or false. Correct answer. True thunder and rain sounds were added in the studio mix. They set the eerie mood for the haunting song. It was one of the last songs recorded with Morrison. The song blends jazz, rock, and ghostly storytelling. It's one of their most atmospheric tracks. The weather effects made it unforgettable. 6. Jim Morrison died in Los Angeles. You have 5 seconds to answer, true or false. Correct answer? False. Morrison died in Paris, France in 1971. He was found in a bathtub in his apartment. No autopsy was performed due to French laws. The cause of death remains unclear. He was only 27, joining the infamous 27 Club. He's buried at Père Lachaise Cemetery in Paris. 7. The Doors were banned from performing in New York after a riot. You have 5 seconds to answer, true or false. Correct answer, false. There was no official ban in New York, but the band did face bans in other cities. A notorious incident happened in Miami in 1969. Morrison was accused of indecent exposure on stage. It led to a media frenzy and legal trouble. He was convicted but appealed the case. 8. Break On Through was the band's first single. You have 5 seconds to answer, true or false. Correct answer, true. It was released in 1967 from their debut album. The song introduced their dark, poetic rock style. Though it didn't chart high at first, it became a fan favorite. It challenged conventional radio formats. The phrase, "break on through to the other side," became iconic. It symbolized rebellion and altered states of mind. 9. The Doors never used a bass guitar in live shows. You have 5 seconds to answer. True or false? Correct answer. True. In most live shows, they played without a bassist. Ray Manzarek used a Fender Rhodes bass keyboard. This gave them a distinct live setup. They sometimes used studio bassists for recordings. But live, it was always Ray covering the low end. That gave their sound a raw, stripped feel. End of part 1. How many truths did you uncover? Stay tuned for part 2. We're diving deeper into the legend of the Doors. Let's keep pushing through to the other side.